Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bedrock Survival. As you can see, I actually relocated us back under the tree here, and I've bred up a ton of animals. But luckily, they're not going to be staying in these tiny pens for much longer. We're going to start today's episode off with a long mining session. I'm going to do a time lapse of that because we do need some resources because we're going to go ahead and build them a more permanent barn structure. And we're also going to probably pick the spot where we're going to eventually build our first house. Like I said in the first episode, I tend to camp out the first little while when I'm playing. I usually find a nice tree or something. I set up a little base area and I sleep underneath the stars. Under a tree, obviously. That way, if it rains, I don't get wet. And yeah, so we're going to have some fun this episode. I'm going to go into a time lapse of mining, and we're going to gather up some resources, and we're going to get to build. As y'all saw there, I died in lava because I was being careless when I was mining and wasn't paying attention that I was standing directly on a giant patch of gravel. Which is my own fault. I should have been paying attention. Luckily, we do have 20 iron up here, and I hadn't picked up much iron yet on my second trip back down there, obviously. I made another fatal mistake you probably saw in that little time lapse there, where I should have brought food with me, and I didn't, because I'm a dummy sometimes. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into time lapse. I'm going to deal with a bunch of the cows so I can get some food. I'm going to refeed them, and then we're going to go back down into the mine, and I'm going to see if I can salvage any of that stuff. If not, we'll go from there, I guess. So we will pick it up from there, I guess. Yeah, not exactly going how I expected it. So we're going to go back into a time lapse real quick, and I'll be back with you. Well, as you saw in that second time lapse there, I brought dishonor on my family, on myself, on my family, the neighbors next door, the people down the road, half the town. I died again by an Enderman. Not my best moment, but we'll persevere. And luckily, when he killed us, he didn't actually knock anything valuable in the lava or anything, because luckily there wasn't any lava around, so we didn't have to worry about any of that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to smelt up some of this stone. Most of the barn building I'm going to be doing is going to be in wood, planks, stairs, trapdoors, and log variants, but it is going to have some stone in it, so I'm going to need some smooth stone because I prefer to work with that a little bit more than the cobble. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this up in the furnaces rather than sticking around. I'll just meet back up with you guys once that's all ready to go. Alrighty, everybody, so here we go. I've got the supplies over here. Lost my train of thought there for a second. I've got everything that we're going to build with here. It's just going to be oak and some oak variety of products. We've got stairs, fences, gates, and trapdoors, and then a menagerie of different stone types here. So we're going to be building a more permanent barn structure here. I kind of tried to test this out in a creative world just to see how the building sat, how it looked. It should look pretty decent, I'm hoping. It's going to have 3 different stall areas for the animals, and it's going to have a bit of an overhang over the front with 3 arches. Usually I don't build with like an even, like a middle point where it's an even 2 blocks. Usually I do everything on a 1. But this kind of lended itself a little bit better to doing the 2 center instead of the 1 center. So we're going to do an even instead of an odd. And now I'm rambling again. So we're going to go into our very first time lapse here on the survival series. And I really hope you guys enjoy it. Well, there it is, folks. The new barn area is built for our animals. We've got our cows, and we've got I almost said our chickens, and our sheep here, and our chickens over here. So you'll notice this is a little big for a chicken coop. This is eventually going to be where we put our pigs when we have pigs, and then I'm going to actually build them a separate little chicken coop that's more in like a chicken coop style, because obviously this is set up like a barn. It's set up more like a barn, and you'll see where my little AFK, or not AFK platform, where I actually put my secondary account to actually be able to try and get a few different angles in that time lapse for you. Hopefully the time lapse wasn't too choppy. I haven't actually looked through it yet. I haven't cut it together, but I tried to move them around a little bit so I could get a few different angles of the build as I was making it. I really hope that you guys like this. I'm really proud of it. It is pretty basic. It's pretty simple. All we really have right now is oak and birch, because I haven't done much exploring out into the outer world. So as you can see, oak and birch are plentiful where we're at, and mushrooms, obviously. But for right now, it's just oak. Eventually, I will venture out and find us some spruce trees and some dark oak trees, and then we'll be able to get some more variation in there. But I feel like I did pretty well with only having oak, pretty much. I don't really like the whiteness of the birch. It's too white. If I'm going to build with birch, I'm usually going to build in birch with birch and sandstone, because they usually go together pretty well. Or if I want to try and do something with like white concrete and bone blocks, and I want a little more texture, I'll add in like stripped birch logs or the planks sometimes as a floor, because they kind of mesh well together. But I'm not a big fan of building with it with oak. I think it's too much of a contrast between like the warmness of the oak and then the white, the stark white contrast of the birch. But I could go on about that for hours and hours, but I'm really happy with this. It's gonna go really well with the style of house I usually build for my first house. It's gonna be more of a cottage style. If you checked out the little time-lapse video I put out when I was test driving this whole ability to be able to test or time-lapse, if you actually check that out, it's gonna be in that style, or that it's basically gonna look like that. I might do a little bit of a variation from that, because it's the kind of rustic, like medieval or just like rural rustic feel that you can do with builds is really versatile, especially if you can figure out how to build a basic like 4-wall house, and then you can go from there. You can start adding on things. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh no, I'm not gonna sneeze. Nope, not gonna sneeze apparently. Was going to sneeze, not going to sneeze now. If you can start out by figuring out how to build a four-walled house, you can pretty much go from there, where you can extend it out and you can either add on wings to the house, or you can add what are called dormer windows up in the attic. You can add a second floor. You can keep it a single level. It's pretty versatile once you find kind of where your build style is. It gets really easy to kind of take your cookie cutter starter house and just build from there. That being said, I am really hoping to expand in this series. I really want to expand kind of my building styles and the things that I do. This is unfinished, mostly because I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the fence gates back here as like extra supports or not. That's why it's missing on this side, but I wanted to build it close to the river here, and I'm really digging this style. I really hope you guys like it. This was kind of a new type of an episode. It had some more time lapses in it. It had some more deaths in it. It had more deaths in it than I really wanted. If I'm being completely honest, I've had more deaths this series than I normally have, but that's because I'm trying to be more engaging. I'm trying to play Minecraft with you all, not just by myself. And when you play by yourself, you tend to fall into your little rut, and you tend to fall into your own little world. You kind of just start building, and you're mining, and you're doing all sorts of different things, and it's so exciting and fun. But when you start to look into playing for other people or doing it as for like a series, kind of can throw you for a loop a little bit. And he has 3? Look at him. Baller. Okay, well. And now they're gonna spit at me. And you're dead. Oh. Not quite. Come on. There we go. Alrighty, well, before this turns into a giant rambly video, because I think I'm going to keep this entire little rambly section in, because other than this, it's pretty much just time-lapse, but I really wanted to take this episode to take my time to talk to you guys, and really kind of inform you all of like what my game plan is for the series, what I want to do overall. I want to push myself further. I want to get better at Minecraft than I already feel like I am. Everyone plays on their own skill level. Everyone plays at their own comfort level. And I'm ready to push myself outside of that comfort level. We're going to build a lot of farms, a lot of technical farms. We're going to build a lot of big bases, hopefully, and not necessarily just bases. I like doing a lot of like world building. I like building my own villages. I like building my own outposts. So I'm really excited to go on this journey with you guys. If there's anything that you want to see me build at all in the future, please comment below. If you really like this video, go ahead and give us a like. If you want to subscribe, I would really appreciate it, and it would certainly help out the channel. Other than that, I really hope that you all have a great, awesome day, and thanks for watching.